Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the Stop Watering Dead Flowers podcast. Now, normally, regular listeners will know that I usually start out by telling one of my own dead flower stories at the beginning to set the tone. But what I'd like to do, based on a story my pal just told me at the weekend or reminded me about, is to put a big shout out there to say, if you have one of these horrible little brainworm stories or regrets or embarrassing moments, please do send them in and we'll read them out on the podcast. Okay, and the podcast is, the email is quite simply stopwateringdeadflowerspodcast@gmail.com, or reach out on social media and send in your wee stories. The story my friend Paul reminded me of was, we both went to Glasgow University and we went to an event called Daft Friday, and there was a few bands on that night, but one of them was Idlewild. I think it was Idlewild that Robbie Wimbo was the lead singer for. We got a chance to meet them. Everyone was like queuing up to meet them. He wanted to get something signed. And obviously we'd had a bit of a drink. Daft Friday's a 24-hour drinking event. So it was maybe 3-4 in the morning. And my pal Paul loves Idlewild. He's just getting close to the front. He's so excited. And then right in front of Roddy Wimbo, when he had his chance, he went, oh my God, you know, you're my third favourite band. Stereophonics, Feeder, but then definitely use third. I think that moment haunts him, and rightly so. I mean, what are you thinking? Just say they're your favourite band, you know? Yeah. Anyway, that's what this podcast is all about. If you have a similar story, please do send them in, and welcome back to another episode. Stop watering dead flowers. I'm delighted to say this week's guest is the magnificent Jordan Young. I mean, how can we describe you in a way of an intro? You are a powerhouse performer. Is that a good one to use?
I'd love that, yeah.
I mean, you cover all sorts, from Panto to River City, but theatre, you're known for comedy performances, but also very intense dramatical performances. Is there nothing you can't do?
Ooh, you should be my agent. Yes. There's loads I can't do.
The most recent thing you were working on that we were just chatting about before, which is going to go on tour as well, if this is of interest to people, tell us a little bit about that, because it was just saying there it's a one-man play.
Yeah.
You're on stage for 80 minutes, just yourself.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that play and what it was like to have to do that, to feel like fully immersed yourself for 80 minutes.
So, doing a one-man play was always a bucket list, but thing that I thought about for years. I think most actors think about it, but the opportunities don't come up very often.
Yep. And
Jemima Levick, who is artistic director at the Tron, got in touch with me in about October, and she said, look, there's a one-man play coming up that I'd like you to do. Are you interested? And my first thought was, I hope I don't like the script, because then I won't do it. First, that was it. And I said that, there was like, because I was terrified.
The fear of having to do it.
Utterly petrified, and I thought, I need an excuse out, because I think your brain's always looking for this sort of safe option. I was like, if I don't like it, I'll just lie and say I'm filming something or that.
Yeah.
And I read it, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh, damn it.
And it was exactly that. I remember putting it down. I was sitting in my dressing room and I put it down, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to do it. And then, so I got in touch with her, said, look, I love it, let's meet for a coffee. Again, thinking meet for a coffee, and I'll be able to talk myself out it.
Yeah. What's the catch?
Yeah. And then, I've known Jemima for about 27 years. She was at college with me. But I've never worked with her fully in a play. And it's a Douglas Maxwell, and anyone who knows Douglas Maxwell writing, he's an absolutely phenomenal writer. He's probably one of our best playwrights in Scotland. And so that's how I signed up to do it, basically. And
Man's best friend.
And so we finished it about 2 weeks ago. I'm on a bit of hiatus, and we go on tour in September. If
only it'd been about cats or something. You'd have been like, I don't like cats.
I wouldn't. I genuinely wouldn't have done it. I have no interest in cats. They mean nothing to me. They're up their own arse. So it was a great experience, terrifying, but really, I think, me personally as an actor, but I don't know if everybody, you're always concerned about drying. You're always, I don't know if comics are the same. You're up there going, what if the head just goes empty and I'm standing there doing nothing?
Oh, regularly.
And it's bad enough. It's bad enough in a normal play when you've got 20 lines, but see when it's just you for 80 minutes. But it's almost put that demon away, because you've done it, and I'm pretty sure I'll never in my life again get a part with that much dialogue.
Yeah.
And I got through it. Don't get me wrong, it was rocky at times. I stuttered, I stumbled, I'd paraphrase, but I never had the moment where I'm just standing going, oh, that's it. I've got nothing.
Save me here.
Yes, and that was the fear, because everyone's going, so what do you do if you dry? And you're like, I don't know, because usually you've got another actor there that you can just look at and they'll say something, and it always makes it look like they've forgotten their lines. You know?
Yeah, just start barking.
Yes, I'm just going to go into the wings.
Twist in the play where he became the dog that was missing.
But he looked scared, a very scared dog. Weird.
Well, these types of things, I guess, that you think about, these types of fears and drying on stage, these are other types of things that are probably perfect and may come up for this podcast, whether or not they have or haven't to you in the past. But how are you generally, as a person, not just in your career, with dealing with things when they do go wrong? Are you quite good at kind of burying them, or can you move on, or do you kind of let them linger and fester and haunt you?
Definitely linger, fester and haunt me.
Perfect.
Yep.
That's what we need.
I live off my nerves. That's, I'd love to say I was very calm, controlled, and can just I think the older I get, the better I'm getting. Right. As a sort of journey of self-discovery in my mid-40s, and going, life's too short, Jordan. Stop being anxious about everything. Let things go. But up to this point, I'm pretty much terrible with stuff like that.
This is perfect. This is ideal. What we want is really just damaged people.
Pained people, yep. I'm your man.
Well, as is tradition in this podcast, we do like to start out with a childhood one and work forwards from there. Were you able to pick out one in particular that seems to...
There's loads of wee ones. I think first year at high school, really fancied this lassie.
Oh dear.
In science, I fancied her all the time, but we were in science.
It was just the lab coat.
Just that lab coat, it was a Bunsen burner, quite a horny thing. And I remember sneezing. I was sitting next to her. I was lucky enough. I don't know if I probably made me sit next to her, or it just so happened I was. But you're on the big stools.
Oh yeah.
And I let out this big sneeze, but unfortunately I farted at the same time. And I just remember that feeling. You're going, the sneeze was really loud, but so was the fart that rattled off the plastic.
One didn't cover the other.
You're like, did I get away with that? It was that little 2 seconds of looking around going, am I clear? Oh no, I'm not clear. Everyone heard that. So that goes through my head.
No one was in the middle of doing something. You're like, oh, someone's experiment's gone wrong.
Yeah. So what an explosion that was. There was...
Did she kind of visibly react? Was there a bit of a kind of...
Yeah, everyone was laughing. It was that kind of pointy laugh, and and me being me, trying to style it out and try to be cool. And I think the best thing to do in these ones is own up to it.
Yeah.
But when you're 11, 12-year-old, I didn't own up to it. I was like, shut up. No, I was just a sneeze. And you're like, Jordan, it wasn't a sneeze. It rattled off that plastic stool. It was a bum sneeze as well.
The kind of ripping effect with the plastic.
Yeah. That was, even now, that gives you that horrible... I'm not a person that gets a red face very often. I'll get embarrassed, but that's one of the first times I remember the sensation of that burny cheek.
Proper...
Going, oh my God, I don't know how to handle this. This is awful. Another one at school.
I take it you never went out with that girl?
No, but I fancied her for the entirety of high school.
Is that right?
Yeah, she just wasn't into me.
Not after that?
No. Sadly not. Do you know what? That's right. That's what caused it. We're going to Mr. Farty Pants earlier.
I think I feel like I would have been a bit geeky in that. So I'd have been trying to be like, oh, it's just chemical gases, and getting the teacher to try and explain the
Yeah.
chemical compound that's occurred. And
What is a chemical?
this is a learning.
I was just letting you show what
event.
methane is, guys. Yes, and it's there.
But yeah, that's a good classic dreaded thing, farting in front of anyone really at that age.
I think we've probably all got that kind of scenario. Another one that has literally popped into my head about 5 minutes before we came here today, and I was like, I've really buried this one deep because it's horrific, particularly as a performer. So I used to do impressions when I was a kid, right?
Yes.
But when I was a kid, as in like 6, 7, 8, and the kid stopped at 8-year-old, because the truth of the matter is the only people that thought they were good was my mum and dad. They weren't good. Like, I know that, Hannah. That's not modesty. Cilla Black. David Bellamy, for anyone who could remember David Bellamy. You know, the wildlife guy.
Oh, aye.
And I really wasn't very good at them. Like,
what would you do for Cilla?
Just that kind of surprise, surprise. You know, that kind of voice. Terrible, awful. But my dad thought I was brilliant at it. Really supportive. He really thought I was brilliant at it. And unbeknownst to me, at one parents' evening, he'd obviously passed this on to my teacher that Jordan's brilliant at impressions. God, I think I'm going to be physically sick telling this story, right? So one day in the class, Miss Thompson, I don't know what went through her head. You wouldn't get away with it now because, that was really exposing back then. She told the class, Jordan's really good at impressions. Just in the middle of a lesson. Is he?
Oh, no.
And I even remember at that time, there was the mixture of ego going, yes, I am. Because I thought I was at the time, but also dread.
Yeah.
She went, why don't you get up and do some? And I remember clear as day doing Cilla and David Bellamy. And they're dreadful. But also, like, there was zero support or enthusiasm from my class. They were just looking at me like I was standing up talking about what I'd had for my dinner.
Why are we having to endure our classmate doing Cilla Black?
And I also remember Miss Thompson's face being completely disappointed with it. You know, her standing looking at me as if, wow, your dad lied. You're actually not very good. Like, they were stinking. They were terrible impressions.
Oh, do you know,
that was really bad.
I got to tell you something as well. I mean, I know David Bellamy and Cilla Black were big, kind of mid-90s, but I've got a feeling that even if they were really good impressions, they just weren't. They weren't the coolest people.
No, they
like,
weren't.
Even if anything, if you were doing a nailed on Cilla Black impression, I think your classmates would have been even more like, what's wrong with this guy?
Why Cilla Black? Why is a 7-year-old fifer doing like this Scouse woman? Why?
But it's such a good example of when you were young, and I'm sure we've had someone on before that was talking about when you're that age and parents getting you to do a wee turn, like they love getting you up to do something. And that's definitely appeasing them, because she would have been like a big character in their lives of what they were watching. So you're like, oh, my parents think this is great when I do Cilla Black.
Aye. And also, I could maybe do an impression of the voice, but I didn't have a routine. I didn't have like...
Right.
So I would maybe do a couple of phrases, but I remember going off, particularly I think I was longer with David Bellamy in the class, but going round thinking it was funny but didn't have any material. So I was just making stuff up, and my improv skills at 7, 8-year-old weren't great. I'm not saying they're great as a 45-year-old, but at that time, I remember running out of things to say, and the mood in the class was just like, this is hellish.
I'm losing them.
You can't lose what you never had, Jordan. It was awful.
What was David Bellamy's kind of shtick? Where was he from?
He had that. I can't even do it. I mean,
I feel like you were going into something there.
He was that speech impediment. He couldn't roll his R's. That was it. He couldn't roll his R's. Well, he had the big beard and that was it. Terrible. Couldn't roll his R's. That was it. He had
This is great. Now I'm just picturing 80 minutes of this kind of one-man play.
Because man's best friend, it's Jordan doing Cilla Black for about 60 minutes, really. And then 20 minutes of David Bellamy.
The dog's gone. Wow.
dear. Horrendous.
That's a sore one. Mm-hmm. I can imagine that one being like you're picturing yourself doing it,
Yeah.
looking back.
Awful. It was the face of the teacher. So the teacher's been told, right, this boy can do impressions. Oh, that's great. I didn't know he could. He's kept that quiet. She gets me up to do it in front of the whole class, but then the look of disappointment in her face will go to my grave with me, like, oh God, he's really not good. This is just, you could just point to any human being and go, do an impression of somebody random, and they would be as good as I was at them. I had no talent for it, no discernible ability at all.
Yeah, the teacher, that's the funniest thing, because everyone would picture, it's the fact that the kids, I was embarrassed, but the teacher even being like, nah.
Sit down, Jordan, I'm not going to listen to a word your dad says at parents' night from now on,
Rubbing out her has potential from the report card.
I want to be an actor. No, you don't be silly, sit down, shut up. Get a trade.
Well, I'm glad it didn't stop you from a career in the performing arts.
No.
Spurred you on.
Yes, but not another impression has happened since. Yes.
Well, let's move forward. Let's move on to, where would you like to go next? Would you like to go to career? Because I feel like we're steering towards that section, I suppose. And it feels like, even with that story, it feels like within the performing world, things can go wrong.
Yes, many times. I think I've let myself down many times. There's a couple. There's one very recent, but I'll keep that one to the end of this career section. I had an audition probably about, say, 16, 17 years ago, quite a long time ago, right? And it was, my agent phoned me up. She said, look, there's this part and it's a big HBO drama, but it's a tiny part, but I think it'd be really good for you to get in your CV and stuff. And I'm like, great, yeah. One line it was, right? So I get the train down to London.
Yeah.
I can't remember the casting director's name, which is terrible because as an actor you should know that. But it was quite a big casting director.
Yeah.
I'm all the way down to London and for one line. And usually I'm pretty diligent. I'm quite studious. I'm quite prepared, respectful, all that. And so the character, he's in the trenches, I think World War II, and he's got one line. So the lead character's coming through, and then go through all these obviously extras and that, and it comes to me and was like, where's such and such? And my line is something like, sir, he's over there by that thing, whatever.
Right, yeah.
So I get in and nervous.
Of course.
Sit down, casting director, she's lovely. She's really nice. Oh, thank you so much for coming down from Scotland. This is great, lovely. And how are you? Oh, I'm great. She went, so, tell me about the character.
Oh.
To which Jordan would usually be quite good in this situation.
Yeah.
I'd usually be like, well, I'll tell you. And unbeknownst to me, and this haunts me, I shrugged my shoulders and went, it's one line.
Oh, no.
And the second I did it, it was like, I've never seen anger like it in somebody's face. She looked raging.
She'd have been as disappointed as your primary school teacher was.
Worse, I would say. But even as soon as I said it, I was like, it's so unlike me.
Who was that?
And why did I do that? And then she went, okay, let's read.
Oh, and you knew it was over,
One line.
really?
But karma has a beautiful way of getting me back. Halfway through my one line, I dried.
No.
So the line was, I can't remember. It was something like, oh, he's over there, sir, by the bucket shed, say it was.
Yeah.
So my heart is pounding in my throat because I realise I've made a massive, monumental mistake here. And I go, he's over there, sir, by... bucket shed. And I try to pass it off as like a dramatic pause, but it's clearly I was so in that That was a lesson, and a lesson for any budding actor out there.
Oh my God.
Never, ever say something like that in an audition. It was horrible.
To your credit as well, what I would say is I can't even picture you doing that. You're like now, like
Yeah.
I don't think you're the kind of guy that would have been like so nonchalant.
No,
It's horrible.
But what's weird is I don't even think I was trying to be that cool guy. Like,
I think you were so nervous.
I was so nervous,
that
and
you-
like I didn't have a. Maybe my mind went blank, but just it's one line. Oh God, it was horrible, horrible.
they're the worst ones starting out when you've travelled a long way as well.
Yeah,
And there's a part of you that thinks, anytime I've ever had to do one of those very rare, oh, you've got to go to London for this audition, it's for something quite big, but it's small. And there's a bit of me thinking, this is the part that will make it all worthwhile. My family will finally believe it. And even if it's a little bit, it's in a film with someone they've heard of.
yes.
This will be, I will be fulfilled.
I've travelled all the way across London and I missed the tube and all that. But this is the story that's going to make it. And I was hungry because I couldn't afford to eat because I spent 150 quid in the train. It's one line. Whoa.
I'd love to know who it was, casting director wise, so we could see if she remembers it. Maybe she still tells the story. Like, do you know this one actor came down and was like,
What a
one line?
little swear word it was. But the thing is, I wouldn't want to know who it was because I'd get nervous if I ever was seen by her.
aye,
I mean, I've never been seen by her since. Maybe that tells you another story as well. Horrendous.
I think we can all guess the answer to this. Did you get the part?
No, I didn't even get a recall, strangely. Weird. I'm still waiting.
No, it's would have been an image thing.
Yeah, it was a height thing with a lead or something.
I used to, sometimes I still do if I ever get the chance to do it. I used to tell a story quite a lot about going down to London for an audition, and it was for Allied, the Brad Pitt film.
Right.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. It was 3 lines, and
Show off.
I do know, yeah, but they were about half the length of your one line in total, because the lines were, "Sir, yes, sir, I knew him very well, sir."
Great.
That was it, and it was Nina Gold. I do remember,
Oh, yeah.
because it haunts me, and I thought, oh wow, I'm going to get seen by Nina Gold, and all the way down. Again, it's 3 lines, but you want to make sure you've got them in. I'm looking at it, and "Sir, yes, sir, I knew him very well, sir," doing it over and over. But I just halfway down on the train, I just stopped looking at the lines, and I started. The scene was with Brad Pitt,
Right.
so in my head I started to picture what it was going to be like meeting Brad Pitt, and like I just went off in this big kind of fantasy world in my mind. And before walking into the room, when I was sitting outside waiting, I was just having this weird fantasy of like meeting him on set and like doing the scene with him and like cracking a joke or something. He's like, "You're funny," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm a comedian," and then like hanging out and going for a drink, and then him being like, "Oh, I'm so sick of Hollywood, and you know, I'd love to go somewhere." I'd be like, "Come to Scotland, mate. I've got a campsite in the Highlands," and like picture this life of us living in like a caravan up in Gairloch, and someone seeing us on a tandem bicycle and like Ochterarder, and sending a photo into the Hollywood Reporter being like, "What's happened?" and like the curious case of Chris Forbes and Brad Pitt. And but I was engaged at the time when I had this audition, and I was picturing like him bursting into the altar when someone's like, "If there's anyone here that knows any reason," Brad Pitt being like, "Stop, Chris, I love you," and I'm like, "I love you," and I was in the middle of this whole fantasy of him. Ultimately, me turning him down at the altar because I loved Eleanor, and he goes and he washes up in a river, and he had a note on him when they find his body, and it said, "I gave Hollywood my heart, but Chris Forbes my life," or something like this. I was just having this really weird fantasy. So when she called me in, I was like, "What? Oh yeah, sorry, yeah." And I went in, like, it was such a weird thing. I was really in this fantasy, and she's like, "Right, let's do the lines." And I went, "Sir, yes, sir, I knew him very well," instead of "I know him very well." It's a tiny wee bit.
Yeah.
But I made this awful. She pointed out, she went, "It's I know him very well, not I knew." And I went, "Oh, I knew." I said, I think I was picturing like past tense, because I was just picturing this thing of like me and Brad Pitt, and like he was dying, and so like I knew him very well because he was dead now, and like just saying all this to this highly powerful casting director that, you know, Brad Pitt's dead. Like I must have said that about 3 or 4 times, you know, because Brad Pitt's dead, like in my mind there. So I was picturing him in the past. It was awful. I think about it all the time.
That's it's not on a par with me. So you get away with it because they'll go, he's just really nervous,
Yeah.
but they just think I was an arsehole.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
I feel like I was in another world.
But I get that. I get that. You change one line, but then it's brought to your attention, or
Yeah.
one word, sorry, and then you become fixated on that. Sometimes the less lines you have, the more nervous you are.
Yeah.
Aye.
God, I hope you get seen by that woman again.
Well, I don't think she's going to see me,
Okay.
although I've aged quite a bit, so maybe she'll not recognise me and she'll forget that. I'll not make that mistake again.
I feel like that would be a great little, see, like if you were like, there's probably people like, like a kind of Jack Nicholson or something like that. It's the kind of thing that he would have on a t-shirt, like they could carry off that type of thing. Like, yeah, it's just one line. Like, it becomes this kind of cool.
I could try and make it my catchphrase.
Yeah.
I might try it in every audition now, but it's all self-tapes now. You can't get away with that.
Just should be in every bio on all your social medias. Yeah, it's just one line.
Any
was
promo
like,
or anything.
We've seen this guy, he's so funny, man. Just one line.
He just doesn't care. I do care. That's the trouble. I do care.
It's an 80-minute one-man play with just him, but he's like, it's just one line.
One line. Well, we wink. One line.
Oh, God. Well, okay. I've got to concede to you there that is, as a career one, at that stage as well, like 14, 15 years ago, you're
It was rough.
travelling home thinking that you've said it and that. And
Aye.
I don't know why I'm trying to like make you feel worse. What I really want to do now is find out what it was, find out who got the part,
Yeah.
get them on, see if they were like completely different or if they were just like.
Guy
I
looks
actually spoke to the
identical
casting
me.
director about how I knew it was just one line, but I knew it was really important because obviously beside that bucket shed was something really, really
But
important.
that's what I should have done. I could have went off in some kind of big dialogue about, it's this, and the guy was cold and he was hungry. He'd not seen his family in 2.5 years and he didn't know what was going on and all that kind of thing. That's what I would do now.
Just one line.
Nah, it's just one line, mate.
What does any of this mean?
Well, what am I
Oh,
here
sure
for?
shite.
Have I got the job or no?
Don't even have to read it. It's just one line. You could probably picture me hearing it.
You'll ADR over it anyway with somebody else, so just give the job.
Did you ever, it's a bit of an aside, but do you know Steve McCall?
Yeah.
And he tells the mad story of when he was on Band of Brothers about how everyone was treating him like shit.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell him. Like, they didn't tell them that they told them to treat him like that.
Yeah.
So he felt like really left out and put out by it.
And there was a lot of that went on in that show.
And then he only found out like 20 years later at one of the reunions.
Yeah.
The other actors were like, oh no, they told us to treat you like that because you'd become like the new CEO or something. And he was like, what? I spent 20 years of my life thinking everyone hated me and I wasn't included. And
Did James McAvoy had a really bad time on that as
oh,
well?
I've read that.
It's a brilliant series though.
So
I'm
good.
not condoning bullying, but it's really good.
It's worth all your suffering.
Yes. I wouldn't have said one line for that.
Okay, that's a cracker. Let's move away from the career stuff
Right.
and go to what is always normally the most personal one. It's the most vulnerable place to go, isn't it?
Yeah,
a
yeah.
relationship story that still kind of haunts you.
Now I've been with my wife for nearly 20 years, so I don't really remember. Well, obviously I had lots of failed relationships, or I think I remember one time where I was out and I was always terrible at chatting up women. I was horrendous at it. And
It's always farting on the stools.
I was farting on the stools and acting cocky when I really wasn't. So I had this sort of, I don't know where I got it from, but I always thought I'll ignore them into bed. Because see, if I ignore them, I'll look aloof.
Yeah.
And it never, ever, ever worked. But it didn't deviate from my plan.
Yeah.
I always had this theory that if there's somebody you're really attracted to, if you didn't really look at them on a night out, like you just ignored them and sort of looked over the head, and it was horrendous.
It just never
never ever worked. And like I would talk openly, going, no, because if they think you're not interested, they'll suddenly be attracted to you. And my mate's like, aye, but it's not working. It will eventually. Just give it time, like 30, 40 years. Give it time. So that was that. But I remember one time I was in a really posh bar in Edinburgh with my mates, and I was drunk. So the only reason I would ever have asked for somebody's numbers. I was drunk. I would never do it sober because I had no confidence. There's this really, really attractive barmaid, and I was like, I'm going to give you your number. And she wrote it down. I was like, oh, this is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. She's actually given me her number. Following day, I text her. Nothing. I'll text her again just to see. Nothing. Maybe a fortnight later, I'm with a different mate, and I'm telling her this story, and we're out, and he's like, let's go to the bar, see if she's working.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, do you think? He was like, aye. She gave you, maybe she gave you, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Because people make mistakes when they write their own number down, don't they?
Maybe the 5 looked like an 8.
It was on, the pad and stuff. I was like, oh, right. And I remember him feeding me through a drink to get me, and she was working.
Oh, I don't
and
like
he went, go and speak to her. Go out and jank. He was like, go up, speak to her. And I always remember going up again. So the drunk guy that asked for her number is back in drunk again. And I was like, excuse me, I text you. I remember she just looked at me and went, I gave you the wrong number. And then she walked away from me. And I just remember standing there like, and my mate laughing, like pretty much like you did there, like as if he knew that was what was going to happen. I just said, can we go now? He's like, no, I've got a quarter of a pint left. I was like, please, can we please go?
I'm laughing because I don't think I've ever heard a story where that was always the dread that, it's just, they've probably given me a fake number.
Yeah.
But I've never heard it being confirmed by the very same person.
With aggression.
Like take the hint, most people, but you had it confirmed from the source.
The idiot's back. I don't think the number not working really hit home with this idiot. Let me really spell it out for you, dumb.
I gave you the wrong number.
And then walked away.
What a shame, because you went from trying to be like so aloof, and then the one time you're direct and got a number, it really backfired. Maybe that would have been the one time to be aloof.
Yes. Yeah.
The aloof strategy was just about to come good.
Oh, I was terrible.
And you went direct.
I was terrible with women, honestly. I never had any success.
The aloof strategy.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, well, I'm married now, so, you know.
What was, again, a bit of an aside, but how did you meet then? I take it that you weren't, was it the aloof strategy or direct, or was it a more happy happenstance of meeting your wife?
Well, we were working together, which is always good because you're kind of in each other's company. And I mean, I don't believe this, but she tells everyone that she had to be talked into going on a date with me. Pfft, lies. But
did you ask her out? Did you go, it's just one date?
just a date. As no looking at her. How did you even know I was talking to you? I nearly ignored you there. She, you know, we're working in Panto, and I made it known to other people that I liked her, because I was never brave enough to tell her direct.
I like that.
I was like, she's pally with her. I'll maybe let her pal know that.
Yeah.
I quite like your mate. Quite childlike, quite like I was in the playground.
Yeah.
But I didn't fart in front of her at first. Things have changed.
You have to mature for a relationship, and then slowly regress back to the immaturity level of
Go
being
get a
comfortable.
plastic chair.
It's so funny that in playground, like high school stuff, the whole getting someone else to relay a message was huge. Because I remember that was the biggest way a lot of people kind of broke their VL, that whole term.
Yeah.
It was like a proper, like almost like a sports agent go between.
Oh,
because I remember it was a pal of mine, Richie, who was like a mutual friend with Natalie. I'll leave their last names out of it, but he came to me and was like, it was like a business transaction. He was like, by the way, Natalie so and so, she likes you. She'd like to get off with you. Can we make this happen? Type of thing. Like, right, okay, let's look
drop a contract.
Let's look at the diaries here. Right, when are we thinking? What, I'm game. How do we go about it? And he was like, so she's going to go to the chippy at lunchtime. So if you were also going to go to the chippy, you guys could go through the underpass, which was a big thing that we did at our school. That people would walk through the tunnel of the underpass, and you could go to the other side to have a wee winch. And that's what we did. So he kind of organised it all, drew it up, And then we didn't even walk down there together until both our mutual friendship groups got close to the underpass, and then we both kind of went. We broke off from the groups, barely spoke to each other, walked under the underpass, got off with each other, and then went back to our groups and off to the chippy.
Brilliant.
Richie's like, job done.
Simpler times.
Commission.
Yeah.
It was so wild.
But see, when you were the go-between, though, you did feel really important. Because it was a buzz, wasn't it?
Aye. It's
And
good.
aye. My mate fancy you. And but see, if you fancied that person as well, and your mate's like, go and ask her, but inside you're like, oh no, I fancy it.
No, I had that.
I'll need to go, I'll tell her. And then she fancies your mate and you're devastated because you're the go-between. You're like, oh no. Do you really fancy him? Oh, you all right? Like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell him.
He's a bit funny, but okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
He's
Has he not told you about his problem? No, I'll let him tell you, but it's quite a bad one. But
These are great. Also, it's also great because I feel like a lot of these stories touch on just simpler times.
yes. All pre-internet.
But all your stories were great. Thank you very much for coming on. What have you got coming up, Jordan? Can we give anything a wee plug? I saw that there's a film coming out, actually.
Yes, Grow, which is out the end of this year. It's getting its premiere at the Edinburgh International Film Festival in August. So I think it's on for 4 days there. And then it's on Sky Cinema.
Brilliant.
Which was that last year. Filmed that and I had a great time doing it. A lovely time.
Nice. And you've got the Man's Best Friend 2 and that starts.
Man's Best Friend, and so it's in September. We're all around Scotland, 10 venues around Scotland, I think, which I'm thoroughly looking forward to. And then back into River City before that's gone. And then that's me. That's me, done.
Thank you very much. And listen to everyone again. Thank you very much for listening, tuning in. Big thanks to the Stand Comedy Club, as always, Sean Stables and Chris Thorburn, our editor. As we've mentioned numerous times throughout this podcast and previous ones, we do have a Patreon. If you do want to sign up and have the means to do so, that would be greatly appreciated. Like, share, subscribe, all the things you're supposed to do with people's podcasts. But in the meantime, one more big thank you to our wonderful guest, Jordan Young.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.